I have a prop for my illustration today. Maybe you've seen this before. So this is the red represents a human lifespan. So about how long we live on this earth. And in the ancient times, lifespan this is just kind of an aside, lifespan is about 70, 80 years. Not much different actually than today. But today maybe 80, 90. Or like my mom, she's going to live to be 100. It's a rarity. At least 100. And the white represents life after death. In particular, we're hoping for eternity, right? So in order to make this look eternal to everyone, I have to throw it over the wall. So I got to get your attention somehow. You're wondering if I'm going to destroy anything. I did practice, so that it looks like it goes on forever, right? Okay, here we go. Whew. Are you? All right. So there it is. Human lifespan, eternity. Yeah, you get the idea. I think one of the things the Lord wants to show us today is life is short compared to eternity. And he says to would you pull that over so it doesn't distract everybody? Thank you. So life is short, so organize your life. That's good enough. That's good enough. That's okay, that's good enough. They can't see most of it. Julia, come back. All right. Thank you. You're not going to remember anything else I say today. So I should probably just stop. So be wise about what we organize our lives around. Be wise about our priorities, what we prioritize in life. So Jesus in the gospel, the guy comes to him, and you probably have heard of this, the inheritance problem in families. Maybe you've even witnessed how when people are focused on material things and possessions, how petty it can get, and arguments and division in the family when they're arguing over inheritance. So Jesus gives this parable. What's he organizing his life around? He organizes his life around greed. So greed in the biblical understanding is the desire to amass more material things and money than is actually our due. It's the desire. So it's a desire as well. It's not just, like the Lord says, just because people can be rich, but there's much more than that, much more to life than that. It's the desire. So he organizes his life around that, and so he has so much, and he hoards everything. He hoards his possessions for himself. And then he says, eat, drink, be merry. So then he says, I'm going to just indulge myself in earthly pleasures and comfort. And then he gets lazy and rest. So there's kind of a progression here. And the Lord says, you fool. So death is going to expose his foolishness. Death will expose his foolishness. The shortness of life is going to expose his foolishness. So I think it's good, first of all, to remember that life is short. But what does the Lord really want us to organize our life? What is wise way to organize our life? It's wise to organize our lives around the will of God. Around the will of God. So even material things and our money is ordered towards God. That's why in the Old Testament, of course, in ancient times, wealth was more in terms of land and agriculture. But in the ancient Hebrews, this is why they had this tithe. This is why they brought human sacrifice and the first fruits to the temple, to keep that perspective, that wise perspective, ordering their material things towards God. This is a gift from God, and we want to remind ourselves that this is not the most important thing, and so we're going to give a tenth of our harvest to the temple, to God. I know that you are ordering yourselves, you are ordering your lives around the will of God because you come to Mass on Sunday. That's when you come to Mass on Sunday, you put your priority on God first, and seeking to order your lives as around Him, organize your life around Him, and His will. And prioritize seeking His kingdom. That's the kind of the second part. That's the part we don't hear today in the gospel, unfortunately, and we won't hear it next week either. That's where the Lord says, look, if you prioritize seeking my kingdom, prioritize that in your life, then you don't have to worry about the material things. That's where he says your life, if God gives us all these good things, if he gives us the most important thing, our lives, and he gives us wisdom and he gives us love, then how could he not provide us with those material things that we need in our lives? So prioritize those and seeking his kingdom. And these other things will be given to you. So I know that we do that, but we all do from time to time, and maybe we do from time to time maybe get greedy when it gets to material things or finances, and we can lose our priorities. Like I know that I do that certainly. The other day I was in the office, and I saw a couple of nice sweaters there, and I thought, gee, I'm looking for a sweater. I'm thinking about buying a couple of sweaters, and I said, Dana, so I talked to Dana about those, and she said, yeah, those are going to go to Pennywise, and I picked them up, and I thought, gee, it's my size too, and I kind of like the color, so I'm going to keep these. I'm not going to give them to Pennywise. And so I did. And Saturday night, last night, one of the parishioners came up to me and said, Father, just go to Pennywise, say, how much would you charge for these, and then give them the money. Then you're good. But my first instinct was to be greedy and say, that's good. I'm not going to say, God, what do you want? I'm going to say, what am I going to do with these? I'm going to keep them for myself. And instead of stopping and thinking and saying, Lord, what would you want to do with these sweaters? Of course, there's bigger things, but So I think from time to time it's good to consider what are we organizing our life around? Are we organizing it around the will of God or other things that are less important? Maybe like possessions or money. And to say, if we come upon something, a possession, or maybe it's a bonus at work, to say, Lord, what do you want me to do? And not like the rich man, the rich fool, and say, gee, what am I going to do with this for myself? But rather say, Lord, what do you want? What do you want me to give? What do you want me to do with this? What's your will for this? And to continue to prioritize that, the seeking of his kingdom in our life as a wise way to use our lives. And at the end of the psalm, there's that prayer that says, Lord, teach me to number my days aright. Help me to remember that life is short, so that I may gain wisdom of heart. Give me wisdom for living, to put my priorities in the right place.